What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us on
Hey, dude.
today's episodes of Video Game Replay. Joining me is my co-host CJ.
DJ, however you make a J.
No,
I
joining me is also my co-host Larry.
thought you were gonna just
I-
pop in right
I'm
now.
glad somebody. I'm glad you recognize I was here, Aiden. Thank you. And
Yeah.
since we're already at the early part, fuck you, CJ. Let's go on.
Your voice
so,
around me?
so what's up,
Is there
guys?
something?
How you guys been doing? How's your week's been? We discussed the last episode, played a little Metal Gear, had some fun, but what's been going on since then, CJ?
You know, honestly, a lot of not shit. Not really a whole lot. Woke up with like a busted looking lip. Think I'm allergic to something. Don't know. We're gonna find out maybe on next episode. No clue. Other than that, kind of been off the game more recently than I have been. Just kind of chilling, watching a little more Better Call Saul. Played a little bit of NBA 2K, but not as much. And I played a little bit of It Takes Two with my girlfriend. We kind of dropped it a while back, and we picked back up a little bit on it. So got a little bit of that, but other than that, just kind of been watching some TV, chilling around the house. You know, nothing crazy. Larry, you done anything to top that exciting week?
Went to work, got paid, slept, played a lot of video games. That's about the extent of it.
Fair.
It's winter where we're at, and I don't want to do shit. I spend all day cold. I come home and I warm up, and at that point I'm good. I don't want to do anything other than relax and enjoy life. They play a lot of video games.
I hear that.
How about you, eh?
Uh, well, like you said, working and shitting and eating and sleeping. But I've come to the senses, as we know, this is the winter time, and we've people in the middle strips of the America have been experiencing some cold weather, to say the least. But I'm realizing, as I was younger, I was always like, hell yeah, we're getting some snow. This is gonna be sick. I love snow. But as I get older, I'm like, man, I don't like snow anymore because the roads suck, everything sucks, everything's cold, and I basically work outside. I work in this little trailer, and man, I was in a shitty heater last night, and it got 3 degrees, and I was just like,
Oh,
yeah, I was literally my toes were ice the entire time. It was
That's gotta
inhumane.
suck. Yeah, you working overnight's gotta suck because you are catching like the worst bit of the cold weather too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah, not very fun. Could turn down my light.
yeah.
there.
You
There
need
was a
to.
time when I was at your cousin's, and his grandpa woke up and was like, "What? You guys woke up early for school to play video games?" And we're like, "What are you talking about, dude?" He's like, "You guys just normally sleep pretty late." And we're like, "You fucking look outside." There's like a foot and a half of snow, and he's like, "Oh, I can't go to work today." Like he couldn't make it off the hill, so he's like, "Oh shit, yeah, you're right." I'm like, "Yeah, fuck you, let's play Minecraft." So
Yeah, and it's even more shit when you kind of live on a hill and you have to go up a hill. And I have a little shitty Ford Sonic that can barely make it up that hill. And sometimes when you drive up the hill, you start sliding back down. Yeah,
who
that's
made that
even
car?
worse.
Oh,
Wait, is it not a Ford? Oh, is it a Chevy? Yeah, it's a Chevy Sonic. Yeah, my bad, dude. I'm so bad with car models.
oh,
And I literally at my work I have to like memorize cars. I literally can't. It's like, did you see that Ford Tahoe drive by you? And I'm like, what is a
yeah.
Ford Tahoe and what does it look like? And maybe I have.
Have you seen
That
this
makes about
vehicle?
as much sense right there.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's so bad.
If
Oh
there's
god.
any car enthusiasts out there, please just forgive him. He knows not what he says.
Yes, Chevy Sonic. I'm sorry, and it's my own
I'm
car.
gonna
So
start making up fake car models as we go and just be like, dude, I saw the sweetest Lamborghini McLaren the other day, dude. You had to see it. You just had to.
was that the dealership?
I see the
Yeah.
the 2025 Kia Countach. Nice, I like it.
That sounds like a real name. I don't know if you're being serious.
They're both are real names, but not the same vehicle. No.
If you say 2025 too, it's like even worse. He's never heard of it. He's like, oh, cool, weird name.
The was it the Chevy Sunfire? Is that a thing or is it not a Chevy? Remember, like it was an old
um,
car, like called like a Sunfire or something.
I think that's
I
a
guess
Pontiac.
Firebird.
I think a Pontiac Sunfire.
Pontiac Fire.
I
I
saw
was
it on a
thinking
podcast. That's the only reason I know.
to tell you the truth in my head, but yeah, Firebird, Sunfire, yeah,
Same thing.
Fire.
So speaking of games, we've all been gaming. What kind of games you
Mhm.
been playing? See?
Um, little 2K, little ninja game. Just a little ninja game I picked up. Kind of indie. Never was really popular. Nobody's probably ever heard of it, but it's a little ninja game from the NES. Other than that, been ripping some Pokemon packs on Pokemon TCG, but nothing really crazy. It takes two a little bit, but nothing insane. Larry, I know you've got me beat. You have to. I've been a little disappointed with my most recent week here.
I've been digging into newer for me but older games. Last weekend after our last show, we got together around the house and I lost my ass 3 times playing Mario Party. Hate that game. Uh, but I got back to doing my own thing. I picked up this game. It's a PC, but I think it's on everything now. It's called Road Redemption, and it is a spiritual successor to a game called Road Rash. And basically, you ride a motorcycle. In this one, I guess some big boss guy dies, and if you can catch his murderer, the gang's willing to pay you like $15 million. And it's a
Yeah.
roguelike motorcycle racing road rash love letter, and it's pretty fun. You get to beat the guy next to you. You got to wreck people. It's pretty intense.
Okay.
Um,
And roguelikes are like you
but
kind of like you keep going and like each run you like level up your character and you can like go down a different tech tree kind of thing. Little
yeah,
cat special guest.
yeah, sorry, Leo. All right. Yeah, you do. The road's never the same. It's going to feel
Mm,
the same because it's procedurally generated, but every time it takes a minute to reload it, so you don't really get used to it. You get good at riding the bike.
Okay.
Um, and then little upgrades, your health and all that stuff. You can buy it, which will get you through this life, but you got to get experience points so you can actually add like 3% to your life
Okay.
next time. Otherwise, you didn't do anything other than waste 15 minutes taking stuff down. So it's all right. Like I say, if some point in time we'll probably play Road Rash. Hopefully, if we ever get the Sega Genesis stuff. Um, but it's a fun game. And then I turned around and I got the free game of the week from a certain big provider of video games who gives out free games every Friday. And I found this one. It's a 2016 game called Turmoil. Very simple, very basic. You can actually get it on your phone for free. But basically, you're just a oil drill tycoon kind of guy, and um, I don't know why, but it's the first game I've played in probably shit 5 years. Well, no, probably 3 or 4 since I played the last Legend of Zelda. That kept me up to like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, oh shit, I need to go to bed.
yeah.
And so it's I don't know.
They
I
hook
think
me
it's fun.
hard. Yeah. Games like that
It's
hook
it's, it's
me
right.
hard at first and then just die.
Yeah, I like games like I think some of the games that I've played like I think Backpack Battles and Megaloot are like technically considered roguelikes, but they're not like
Mm-hmm.
I like games like that where you like jump into it and you're like I have no clue what's happening, but you have to kind of explore it. I've been playing I played one a little whiles back. It's really good. It's called Hades. It's a popular game. It's not like
Yeah,
but it was pretty
that's a
good.
that's a roguelike too, right?
Yeah, it's a roguelike. I was honestly they're one of my favorite types of games. And I also played man, I can't remember. It's like Super Pet or something. Super I
Super Pet
remember
Adventure.
I told you about it one time, Larry, but I cannot remember what it's called for the life of me.
I think it's Super Pet Adventure, is it not? Or am I just bullshitting?
I think you're bullshitting.
Look it up. Not look at
No,
this.
it's called Super Auto Pets. Played some of that, some a little bit
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Megaloot, Backpack Battles.
Yeah, I do remember you told me that, and I do like the backpack battles as well. I did enjoy that. And I touch it every so often for a 15-minute fix. So,
Yeah, one of my
yeah.
um,
in the
Make a trip.
gaming realm, one of my favorite things to do when I'm deciding to be a lazy piece of shit that day is like play a game like that, and on my other monitor I have a podcast or like a YouTube video or a Twitch stream playing, and I just turn my brain off and play that for like 7 hours.
That's
well,
fair. I've
hey,
done
just
that.
just in case,
Got me.
just in case anybody's new, there's enough content you can play through about 10 hours of VGR while you're playing your favorite video game. So
Yeah,
don't be afraid to
Exactly.
start at the beginning and try this again.
Yep.
true.
Now you're talking.
One that got me when it first came out was fucking the Fallout shelter, like tycoon type thing where you like built your
Oh,
underground shelter. That shit had me in a chokehold for a minute, I'll be honest. Like it really when it first came out, I was so big on it. It just it
Was
ended
it?
up dying
Is that
off.
the one where you have like 15 seconds? You got to grab a bunch of things and go in the bunker, or is that a different game? Like you got to
It's
grab the
kind of
mom and the
similar. I
son,
don't
and
remember.
it's more of a cartoonish
No,
game.
it's more
Okay,
of
I'm
like
thinking a different one.
similar though. Essentially, like it gives you a little cutscene. It's like, oh shit, we have to start the shelter. You get in the shelter. All the like we're all gonna die. Like you gotta basically like you can build your bed places, your kitchen places, and you just build underground and just it's pretty much like big shipping containers. You're just placing underground, and
I
then
got you.
people will come up. Hey, can I join? I bring this to the pack. This is what I'm worth and shit like that. I don't really remember it too well, but I do remember spending more time on it, maybe even money than I should have. But shit like that used to get me, especially in high school. It was like the back of the class video games that you could play on your phone, and that one had me. That one had me.
We have we have a little bit of not breaking news. This is news that has been known, but one of the biggest things right now is TikTok. Is TikTok getting banned? What's going on there? I mean, I've heard January 19th, and I've heard it's actually going to happen, but I don't know how I feel about it. Larry, you might know a little more than me.
Seems
Um,
racially motivated, dude. I'm sorry.
No, no, no.
Crazy.
He's talked to me about it before, is why I said that.
I'm kidding.
well,
I'm kidding.
it's they're wanting to ban it, I guess, because the United States government feels that the Chinese government is using the information that they're getting to either one influence the Americans or two steal their data. So the thing I think it's weird is the government's trying to push them to sell it to us,
Mm.
which or sell it to an American company, which I'm like that's a little effed,
Yeah, like why
even
would they do
regardless
that?
of what your policy is.
Right.
So they're looking to push the ban, but as of today, this point, it seems like everybody who's at least in the news cycle, whether it be the old or the new president, are basically saying, "No, we ain't gonna do that. We're gonna hold that off. We're gonna work with it and
Mhm.
do all that." So
I've been
both
hearing a
sides
lot.
decided a year ago that we're gonna ban this shit. And now everybody's like, "No, no, no, we're gonna work it out." So I don't know what to think or feel about
Well,
it, but
I think
I
it's
guess
I think it's actually going to happen. Like there's, because I'm pretty sure the original TikTok ban was packaged in a bill that was for like I think hurricane relief or something like that. It was like packaged in a medical aid bill, like at the bottom of it, and like pretty much
Mhm.
no one talked about it the whole time. And somebody brought it up that said like we should extend this so we can have some more time to look it over. And I think he like proposed like 270 days or something to, because he said
Oh, something about
like this is something where like half of our entire country uses this app and there's like thousands of people that this is their living, like we should extend it and at least give them some time, and they were all like nope, we're not doing that. So I mean,
feel a couple different things about it. I've heard something similar to that, and in a way, it almost felt like the U.S. was kind of like trying to arm them. Like later, like you said, it's kind of weird, like hey, just sell it to us and we're cool. Kind of felt like hey,
yeah.
this is the date, and now kind of like they're like, well, maybe a little bit longer and see if they can make any more leeway on it. But in a way, I'm rooting for it. I'm gonna be honest for you. Like it kind of I don't know. It's just what has it really done other than I feel like a lot of us are now like stuck on shorts and everybody tried replicating it and now it's like how many times have you caught yourself at work or at home and it's like oh I need to do this and let me just watch another video or two and then you look down an hour later and you've sat there and scrolled and I hate it. It kind of makes me regret I've fallen into the trap heavily, you know what I mean? And I just
Oh yeah.
kind of regret falling into the trap so much. And it's like, oh, what am I gonna do? Instead of like doing anything productive, I pick up and get on TikTok. It's like I appreciate it for what it was, but I hope it doesn't become like what YouTube has become and what these other social media platforms have become long term in a way. I just part of me's rooting on its downfall, I'll be honest.
Well, here's I can sympathize with your argument, and as an avid TikTok doom scroller, I will say these these people that are have come accustomed to this short term content or short style content, they're not going to disappear. They're just going to go to Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts. It's just going to go to a different type of short term. And I feel like it's I don't know.
well,
I've heard some conspiracies that a lot of a lot of the Congress members and people up there have a lot of meta stock and are buying a lot of meta stock. So they
Mm.
want to get rid of TikTok like even faster because like that'll raise the meta stock
Yeah,
obviously. But
I'm
I
hoping
don't
it
know.
kind
I'm
of
not very
just takes
conspiracy brained.
taken. I'm hoping it takes the slim chance of the pivot that people it doesn't say like all these big creators. It doesn't work out on Instagram. It doesn't work out on Facebook. It doesn't work out on YouTube. At least to the extent to where it kind of forces us to regress a little bit into something that we've already had with the longer form, and not just so, oh my god, look at me, views, 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 views. Because I mean, especially, I know we've all seen let me be an NPC, and they sit there and just do this shit for hours. Thanks for the donation. Thanks for like let's be better than that, like overall, you know what I mean? I hope that we can pivot away from that. And it feels like a lot of people even are getting wrapped up in like, oh, like I didn't mean to say that. Now there's like a big scandal against me. Like, oh my god. Well, you're saying shit for clicks, and that's what's gonna happen when you're in the heat of the moment trying to be funny. Like, there's been times, I'm sure you guys can think you've been hanging out with friends, and like I was trying to say something funny, so I said something stupid about Aiden, and it kind of pissed him off. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
we've all done it for the attention before, but I feel like when it's on such a broad, big scale, it kind of gets stupid looking at it. If you look back at it, and even like I don't really make posts, but even a couple things I post or share, I'm like stupid as shit. Like what? You know what I mean? So I hope we change it in a way.
I just I don't know. You scared me on the idea. Like I say, there's people who do dumb shit, and some of them outcome. There's people who do dumb shit for clicks, and some of them come out smelling like Logan Paul, and that's what
Yeah,
pisses me off.
yeah, and it's
I do stupid shit, and I'm still paying for it 20 years later. He does stupid shit, and suddenly he's
yeah,
Intercontinental Champion on fucking WWE.
right. Another thing I just wish that would go away that I feel like sparked on TikTok a lot harder is a just the this why do we need so much like sexual content online in a way? I feel like TikTok really boosted it. And another thing I've seen like debates I guess about it on TikTok. It's like people that are underage are like trying to appear sexy kind of thing, and it really like not only is it not good for it's not like a good look for them, but I mean they're luring in pedophiles, you know what I mean? And it's like it's just kind of I just wish that we could get away from it. I don't know that it's something that fixes overnight or fixes just because it goes away, but it feels like TikTok upped the game when it came to like just people posting sexual content. And it's like I just want to be able to get on my phone and not see that through Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, wherever it may be. But I feel like that's what really pushed the needle through.
That sells, man. I hate it. Like I say,
It does. Yeah, I get it.
we're still looking to get you to take your shirt off while we do these, but that's really what we're. I know what you're coming from.
Yeah.
Well, that was a long intro, longer than usual. But
What a
let's get
rant.
into the good stuff. Ninja Gaiden, great game. As we all know, it fell to my sixth pick, second round pick. Everyone knows I have the greatest picks. Everyone knows, but it was a great game. I loved it. But Ninja Gaiden released in 1988 in Japan. It actually followed about half a year later, released in North America in 1989. But it's a side scroller. It follows Ryu Hayabusa. I believe I'm saying that right. A young
Sounds right.
ninja. The game starts with these two ninjas that are clash. That or his Ryu's dad left him a note. Pretty much said like, if you see this, like this is where I'm going. I'm gonna go fight this motherfucker. And then
Say that. You got to read it in a ninja voice, dude. You know how it came across.
cannot say that what I'm thinking, but he's seeking revenge for his father's mysterious death. He uncovers this plot with Jaquio, accompanied by Irene, a CIA agent, and it's a side scroller. It's great, incredibly hard. A lot of cinematic cutscenes. It's one of the pioneers for cinematic cutscenes. Some badass soundtrack. We'll get into the story a little more later, but what'd you guys' first impressions see? What do you think about it?
Or I mean, honestly, first impressions, it's a ninja game. You know what I mean? Like ninjas they're just badass. I think there's probably a list of maybe you could say maybe 50 just to throw a number to the wall. There's a list of 50 things that make guys just say hell yeah. Ninjas are one of them. Like
Yeah.
let's just be honest.
Oh
Ninjas are one
yeah.
of them. And so I mean, yeah. See, that's what I'm so. I mean, first initial impression is badass music instantly. Ninjas are just kick ass. And I honestly, based on the way you were talking about it, you said it'd be difficult. I thought I was gonna fucking hate this game. Like, oh, here we go, another fucking Doom game for CJ that he can't get past fucking two jumps. Um, I liked it. It was cool. It was nice. Ninjas, hell yeah. Music's badass. I think I'm appreciating side scrollers more after like Metal Gear. Made me be like, thank God a side scroller, dude. Like I can get down with it. So that's what got me off the jump. Larry, I mean, what did you think? First impressions, I guess, coming back to it. If you want, touch base on you might have played it before, possibly.
Well, okay, let's. I'll give you the best first impression I can remember of this. It is probably 1988, maybe 89. Larry's about a 9-year-old little punk running around the neighborhood, and he slides into his neighbor's house, who, many years later becomes the father of one Mr. Dilf Aiden. And he's in there playing a ninja game. I'm like, dude, what is this? And he's like, this is Ninja Gaiden. So I was like, hell yeah. And he watching it, and he's running through levels, and he's fighting barbarians and just different stuff. It's just everything. I mean, I can't even direct the commercial for you just to show you how much awesome shit was happening. But imagine just so many quick cuts in the brain of just it all going on. And of course, me being a 9-year-old, like, can I borrow it? He's like, no, I gotta play this. So I needed to say, like, can I try? Can I get it? And I think the first boss is about as far as I can remember getting, probably for like the first year, because it
Damn.
was just something different, totally kicking my ass. But it was exciting. It was beautiful. The cutscenes are, I think, the very first ones we really see in video games outside of, I think Pac-Man had a chase scene with a little love scene where they created baby Pac-Man. Fight where you want to on that, but I mean, if you could call awesome something else, it was fucking Ninja Gaiden. And yes, I did say Gaiden earlier because everybody from 1980s up until even the uh, the Wizard movie, we debated it if it was Ninja Gaiden or Ninja Gaiden. And I guess at this point, since we're more culturally in turn, it's Ninja Gaiden. But yeah, somewhere deep down, it's Ninja Gaiden to me. So um, just something awesome, very great video game. But Aiden, you like this enough that you picked it. What do you think? Muted.
Yeah, hear you, big dog. What's going on?
I muted my mic, but I was gonna say yes, it was my pick. I'm the best picker around, but I love this game. What can I say? Uh, it's one of my. I want to say I got into this game a couple months before we started the podcast. I was introduced by my uncle here. He said, like, I was like, what are some games I could play? Like, cause I do jack shit at work. What can I play? And he said this because he knows I like some challenging games, and I really like Contra. And I really liked it. I mean, it was very challenging, which is right up my alley, and I mean very rage inducing. But I mean, once you get used to it, I mean, you can follow the story. I think my first playthrough. I wasn't a kid, so I can understand Larry not beating the first level for a year. But I think I made it to 4 or 5 within like an 8 hour shift or like a 12 hour shift where I played for like 8 hours. But I don't know. This game's just kick ass. A lot of cool, unique enemies. The soundtrack's kick ass. Cutscenes are kick ass. I mean, what can I say? The game's pretty sick. I mean, speaking on graphics and cutscenes, this being one of the pioneers of cutscenes in gaming, what do you think, See? I mean, what about the graphics stand out?
The cutscenes for me being a I'm not gonna rant back, but I blame TikTok. What did I do when the cutscenes popped up? Bro, I smashed the button. I fucking didn't pay any attention.
Yeah.
So that's on me or TikTok. But the graphics, I mean, it was nice. I think in a way to just go back, like I said, to a side scroller. It felt like I didn't have to relearn a whole game based on the graphics. Like I got confused on Metal Gear with a few different graphics at first and was like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Like there was no what am I doing wrong as much as oh fuck, that was a ledge. I didn't know that was a ledge I could get on. And so I think I mean it came out in the 80s. It is what it is. You're gonna have a few things that you're like, oh fuck, that is a ledge. I can't. So I'm not really gonna knock it on that. That's probably the only downside of the graphics. I'm pro side scroller, so I do like it. Couple things that did bother me occasionally was just like I said, kind of things blending in. There was a couple times I like thought there was some ground and it ended up being trees in the distance. Not pissed at it, but just was like, oh, that's not the ground. I thought it was. I just saw green and thought there was grass. I'm kind of looking here. Grass is here. It wasn't grass. That grass was very far away. So overall, I mean, it played smooth. I don't think it was buggy, especially for its time. I mean, a lot of games you see enemies pop on the screen, and it's like, oh well, fuck. Now I'm moving like Mr. Roboto here. Not this, honestly. It surprised me a little bit with that for sure. Graphic wise, is just the capabilities it had wasn't compared to some things like when we touched Mega Man and it was just fucking spazzing out when four enemies are on the screen. No, like the bird was flying at me while the ninja was jumping at me while the dude's shooting at me, and I had no issue. So I give it a B plus A for graphics for the time being. I really enjoyed the graphics on it. Larry, maybe you feel different, maybe you feel better, worse, but that's where I feel. I liked it. I like the graphics.
It's a very beautiful game. You can tell what's what. You can. I'm a little confused about your getting lost in the background, but I think this whole
Skill issue.
2D 2D scene's a little
Yeah.
rough on you, get young guys. But um, cutscenes were great. I mean, it even made it a little bit weirder. That's what Ryu looks like. Like, huh,
Hmm.
looks like a white dude, but um, it's lovely. I think the colors jump out everywhere. The bosses, after looking through the manual, may leave a little bit to the imagination, but um, other than that, I mean, yeah, just you could just see what things were. It never did seem to glitch for me either. And I did, I think, I don't think Tecmo, the company made this, gets enough credit for their graphics.
I was gonna say I forgot to mention
Well,
they published and developed. Tecmo did this game. Forgot to mention it, but yeah, go ahead.
that's all right, that's all right. But I mean, a lot of the things they make, which we may see later, they it's crisp, it's clear, you can tell what's what. Which at the time that's pretty damn good. I mean, the only thing like say complete wise, graphic wise, is Ryu's wearing what blue, purple, periwinkle, depending what you want. But
Yeah.
I mean, to make him stand out, and he didn't look bland like a blue, like a black ninja just hiding out. But um, I just think it's a very, very good looking game, and it's like I say, the cutscenes, the little movies parts. There's one scene I actually showed my daughter today as I was playing it one more time on the Switch. Um, it was a basically where the mountains parallax scroll one direction, you see the castle coming, but then out of nowhere Ryu comes and slides by it, and it just sets up this awesome poster. Which,
Hmm.
yeah, okay, a 40-year-old dude with a 8-bit graphic poster in there, badass. That's all I can say. It would be fucking badass, and you would
On the
have
hell
one
yeah
too.
list. That's on the hell yeah
But
list.
and like I say, it's just, but it's simple, but it's just beautiful, and that to me is enough. Hey, what you think? What you got?
I mean, I feel like you hit it on the nail pretty good. I mean, the graphics, the cutscenes, I actually like. I went through and I watched the YouTube videos. I mean, it was about 20 minutes of cutscenes. Like this was a
Well,
big game. Like this is like it was a lot. The cutscenes were great, and as you rewatch all the cutscenes in order, like it tells a clear story. And for its time and on the NES, it's I feel like it was like done really well. Definitely one of my favorite games that we've played. But I mean, the graphics, you can tell the monsters, you can tell what they are. I mean, the birds, I damn them to hell, but I mean, you can tell they're birds and stuff like that. I feel like the levels and the ambiance, and another thing that really helped bring it all together was the kick-ass soundtrack. And as we get more into that, I just want to get see what's your impressions on the kick-ass badass super kick-ass soundtrack.
There's some games that do it terribly, and there's some games that do it great. And I think one like the main factor that's gonna either sing or sink or swim me is the intro soundtrack. What did they do, dude? Ball was thrown perfectly down the middle. Tecmo said, "Fucking get out the way, home run." I'm hitting it out the fucking stadium. I mean, soundtrack was awesome. It really there's like I've mentioned it a million times before. There's some soundtracks that pull you into a game, and of course, of the time you need it. But I mean, what a soundtrack! It really, it's good. It's just, I mean, to put it in less words, it's really good. It's a solid soundtrack. I even mentioned pre-podcast, why, bro? Tecmo should have just said, "Fuck it, let's put some faces to it, find some lyrics." Like, I think you could have sold some of this shit on the guitar, drums, and put just some vocals over it in the '80s. Like, this shit was solid. Like, I really enjoyed it. I think it could have sold. Larry, you gonna back me up on that?
I don't disagree. I mean, again, I don't know how 80s you might or may not be, but 1984 Transformers the movie soundtrack is fucking awesome, and it goes from shit you've never heard to shit you've heard to Weird Al. So I mean, this here can't fail. Um, I took a second there as you were talking because yeah, the opening cinematic cutscene of where the ninjas are fighting in the field, dude, that is a way. Like I said, I'm surprised you must have just not seen it, CJ, or you just too antsy to jump into it, dude. It's just so good though. I mean, no, you don't have to say nothing. There's not even any damn words or anything, at least until after it happens. But you just here's Orange Ninja, here's Gray Ninja. Then you hear the footsteps as they're running through the grass, and it's like it jumps up, and you hear ding. They hit the ground, and then I looked up. It's called the Moonlight Duel. Oh, that music right there! It's just it's because
Mhm.
somebody lost, somebody just died, and it's like our story begins, and it just goes on, and it's just I mean, think about that. That's 8-bit emotional music,
Yeah.
and that's crazy. I really would go back and look at it and think about it, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
that itself just sticks with me. I introduced you guys to some a band there that did that in real life with real
Yeah.
instruments, even more
Good.
jamming, and they kind of did
Yeah.
medley of a different one later, but action packed, emotional soundtrack, and like I say, even the sounds, just the sword swinging and fighting, all sounds good. But that
Yeah.
music
Solid.
is top level.
100%. I mean, I have to second on everything you said, and again, like watching through the cutscenes, you even have on the cutscenes like that they have different soundtracks for the cutscenes and for different moments in
Hmm.
the cutscenes. Like this level is like so. I mean, this game is just so in depth, and I mean, if you watch speedrunners play the game, which I actually went down a rabbit hole of speedrunning Ninja Gaiden, and like the rabbit hole goes deep. But I mean, you have people speedrunning the game, and like a lot of these NES games, like you see the speedruns are like 3 minutes long. Like the speedruns for this game are like 15 minutes. Like for the best of the best, like I mean, which 15 minutes to beat this game is insane. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but just having, like I mentioned, the ambiance and the graphics being very amazing for the time, and the music to accompany them, and each whether you have the emotional parts of it towards the end. I don't know how much we want to spoil or what do we think? We spoiling or
I mean, it's a what
Not far
35
enough.
35-year-old
year old
game? It's
game.
like it's like trying to spoil Star Wars. I'm like
Well,
at this
hey,
point,
hey, from this, I guess at this point we'll stop and we'll say for anybody who's never experienced this, skip 2 minutes ahead, and you'll probably still get a spoiler either way. But we just want to give you the warning. You have
yeah,
hit the spoiler zone.
just want to give you
No,
the
okay.
warning. But it towards the end of the game when you have that reveal that Ken's father is alive, and if he defeats the little orb, and then as you see, took off the mask. Oh, it's fine, but oh wait, it's not fine because Jaquio's there, and he's gonna send a orb blast, and your father takes the brunt of the damage in there, and the sad music starts playing. I mean, for its time, not even for its time, like it's a good story, and like all around
Yeah.
accompanying the good story with the soundtrack to match. Uh, I thought the soundtrack was amazing. Even if you go through and just listen to the soundtrack in general by itself, like you can be like, "Holy shit, there's some bangers in here. There's some like metal shit, like some bangers."
Um,
I agree with
I
that.
can't I can't swear to you, but I started looking for that name of one. I have several different long view videos of this on YouTube I found for the soundtrack. If this is even the first one, there's hour there's half hour version, there's an hour long version. And the idea that there's an hour worth of music on this fucking game
Yeah,
Yeah.
is
it's crazy.
insane, dude. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it because I know, like I say, I'm thinking about it as I played through it this evening. Say just kind of gave it a quick run, get it fired up in the brain again before we start talking again. Just I wanted to play it on my Switch one time, um, versus every other thing I've been playing on this past week. But um, it's Yeah, I don't recall a whole lot of repeat happening. If it is, they've tuned it well enough to where you just don't catch it.
Yeah, fair. Very fair.
And I wanted to touch a little bit on the story because I feel like if we didn't go a little more into depth about it, then it'd be doing a little bit of an injustice. Uh, it starts off with Ryu's father, and you see the epic duel like Larry was talking about between where you don't know it was his father at this point, but it's two ninjas, and then I have a little synopsis over here. It says there's a note from his father saying of his apparent death, and he receives a letter urging him to take the dragon sword and travel to America. And that's where the stage takes place. And you have like the cutscene with Irene Liu, and the main part is there's these two statues. The statue, what is this? The statue of light and the statue of what's the second one? Is it just shadow? I think it's
Darkness.
shadow.
Yeah, Shadow.
The
Shadow statue,
the
yes.
two demon statues, and Ryu's father Ken wants to meet. I think his name is Walter Smith,
Uh-huh.
and he travels through the area of the strongholds, face all the enemies, and that's where you have like the bomber head, and he learns about Jaquio, and he in this area Jaquio is kind of the mastermind behind this thing, trying to get the two ancient statues together. And you see all this, and it was really cool. The stages, as original played it, I was kind of ADHD pressed through the cutscenes, like CJ did. But as I was watching it, like you have the CIA agent, and he talks to him and says, "This is what you need to do," and it travels. You get in a plane, and then you travel into a different area. Like I feel like that's just I don't know. That's just so cool because when you think about these games, you're just like you're in this one area and you're defeating the dungeon. This one's like no, like this is a story. Like you're flying to different areas. Like you're getting captured. You're talking to CIA, and it's like
Well, okay. Sorry. You brought that up, and I remember seeing that. But let's ask the logical question: when Ryu Hayabusa travels, does he wear the ninja outfit, or is he?
yeah,
You go back in his street clothes
just
and shit. He's like,
full ninja out.
"Here's
Finally.
my boarding pass and all that." Just yeah.
Stands in at the airport,
yeah,
puts
it's
it
Uh,
back
me.
down.
Said, bro, why
do
you
I,
in a
do I
full
have
ninja
to? Do I
costume
have to?
here?
I mean, let's be real.
Right.
This was pre 9/11. He probably could have just walked up in there in a
Yeah,
fucking
with a
ninja
ninja
costume. Like,
sword.
all right,
With a sword.
dude.
Yeah.
Nah,
Right.
sir,
Actually, you
that's
put it
gotta
that
be.
way.
That can't be on your carry-on. That can't be on your. Put it in your check bag. Put it in your check bag.
I'll check my shuriken, but I'm not checking my sword. The sword stays with me, and I'm smoking a cigarette, please. Cigarette smoking section, please.
Perfect.
Well, and he meets Walter Smith, which Ken told him he needs to meet, and Walter has the other statue because Ken had one and Walter had one. And a little thing that I don't really understand why they did, it was you have to meet Ken, you have to meet Walter, but I have one statue and he has the other. Why would we bring the statues together? But I digress. Uh,
Uh,
but pretty much they get ambushed. Walter gets killed. They take the statue. They steal the statue from Ryu, and then this is where he has to go and like, oh shit, I got to go. And then he fights. What's the stage 5 boss called? It's the Moth. He fights that Moth guy, and he pretty much says after he says like, this is for my father, and he said, oh no, your father's alive. And he's like, what? This is all crazy. This crazy as all get out. And then he goes to stage
yeah.
6. He's possessed by the mask, and like, and this is where I was talking about earlier. He sees the orb and like maybe I destroy the orb, I can release my father, and then he destroys the orb, releases his father. But Jaquio, I assume it's Jaquio, was all
Yeah.
like, "No, dude, I'm gonna shoot you." And I know you've climbed 6 levels, but you're not gonna be able to dodge this one, and your father has to kill himself for you to survive here. So that's what happens, and you get the emotional moment, and then you have to fight Jaquio. CJ, you never got to this part, but
Dude, I was
this is
struggling at one point.
you would not struggle, you would just quit because this is a boss
Yeah.
and there's 3 stages to this boss. It's not like you beat him. You have to kill this
Yeah.
orb with all these AoE fire things flying around. Then you have to fight The second one's probably the hardest, where you're killing Jaquio himself. And after you fight and you kill Jaquio, he's like, it's too late. Here are both the statues here, and the solar eclipse is happening right now. So you have this demon emerge, and now you have to fight him.
Oh God.
It's all.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
quit.
You would definitely quit. And then you have this
Oh,
emotional moment with Irene, a little sappy, where they're like, I think he said, "This is my reward," is like, and they kissed or something. But apparently the CIA was planning to kill Ryu the whole time. Is what you Irene or the little device was telling Irene. And I don't know, Larry. You can give me some more information. Is that the sequel? Like him going after him, or because he said, I'll get you back for this."
I honestly don't remember. Because I spent too much time focused on this one here, and two I remember playing. I don't remember watching much of the movie on that one, and three is just ridiculous.
Yeah, when where you
So,
there's game over screens and you don't have infinite shit. So I can't even
yeah,
imagine how you'd beat that.
well,
Fair.
that's yeah, it's they were just pissed. Tecmo was pissed off at somebody at that point when they decided to pull that. But
Yeah,
um, just a side note on that, I do know apparently in Japan it was easier um, on all of them.
really.
The I don't know if you guys are young enough or old enough to remember renting video games.
Yes and no.
Not really for me.
Um, not
Okay.
super common. It was more of the let's go to Redbox and pick a shitty Wii game that we are gonna
Okay.
hate for a
Well,
day.
same concept. Flashback, 80s, 90s. These are all on cartridges. You don't really have a whole lot of save games. A couple of them do. Either way, there was stores you could go to that would rent them. You could go to the grocery store and rent
Solid.
some.
Nice.
Uh, and basically
Fuck
pay
yeah.
$2 a night to go play this video game. And what these people had figured out is we aren't selling them because people are renting them. They were able to rent them for a weekend and beat the game.
Hmm.
Mm,
So, and when they started to realize that's what Americans were doing, that's why you start getting these stupid ass hard. You're
yeah.
not going to beat this in a
Yeah.
weekend game.
Yeah.
But they also made them hard enough to where it's like this one here. I think you get through the first 2 to 3 levels, you feel comfortable, and then it kind of starts to really crank up. And by 4, 5, and
Fair.
6, you're just
Oh yeah.
you. That's where the
Six
rage starts.
six. The whole stage is literally ridiculous. I played on a
Every bit of it.
I played on a modern day handicapped version of playing full transparency. But even then, even with playing with that handicap, it was like, this is ridiculous. I can't imagine any, especially kids in the 80s, playing this game and beating it. Like they would have to be some child prodigies, like to beat this game.
Oh God, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think, like I say, if you run into anyone else ever talking about it, they'll probably say, yeah, 30 years later, I've not beat it. But there are people who still try, which I think speaks to the legacy of this game itself. It's,
Yeah, for sure.
they want to beat this game just to. I mean, I don't know. It's a I don't know what they call it, a bucket list item, but definitely a something that's up there that you got to make happen.
Yeah.
mm,
It's valid. It's valid.
it's valid. As we said, we talked about the graphics, we talked about the soundtrack. So I want to get into. We might all have the same answer here, but see, what's your
We
least
do.
favorite part of the game?
And I quote, because I typically try to keep notes on it. I'll quote the first part. The fucking birds pissed me off, bro. Pissed
Fuck a
me
bird.
right the hell off. Um, yeah, I didn't know that birds were heat seeking, but they are. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but I don't know why they're so pissed at fucking me. But the birds pissed me off. I didn't really have a lot to hate. One other thing that was just kind of, I'm gonna say maybe a little user error, but not as much as normal. I would get kind of stuck to the wall sometimes, or stuck on the wall in a position I didn't want to be in, where I'm like half peeking it, and I'm like fuck, so I'm taking damage with being stuck on the wall. Other than that, there was a couple times I was kind of like, it just took me some time to time some jumps and get the attack off, but nothing to hate. The birds is truthfully just hell. That's what I got on what I
A hundred,
didn't like,
a
but
100%.
overall, not a lot to hate.
Like, why are these birds heat sinking, and also why do they do more damage than a monster throwing an axe at my face? Like these birds, you have this monster throwing which he's annoying too, where he just randomly tosses the axes up in the air and
Yeah.
it does 1 bar of damage, and you have this fucking falcon that is doing 3 bars of damage. Like some
It's
bosses
got
don't
to be
even
a
do
crow.
that.
We must have
There's
missed a cutscene where you choked out a crow and all the
yeah.
crows in the world saw you and they're like, "Fuck that
Well,
guy!"
there's like
Like,
there's different colors. I think they're all the same model, but there's like white ones, there's
yeah,
dark ones, there's brown ones, and like, but they all
Yeah.
suck. Don't get me wrong. This is not a racist issue here. All the colors of the birds suck.
Yes. All birds suck, and they should definitely die. I mean, yeah. I think actually, there's a dude in. I think you start seeing him in the snow stage. Has a machine gun. The bullet hits you once. It's 1 point. So the bird is worse than the bullet, but it is the same as the bazooka.
Yeah,
Just know that. So
serious bird damage.
and I'm pretty sure this is
yeah,
maybe only in stage 5 or 6, but there's also a guy that throws the like a boomerang. The white guys that throw like a boomerang thing and it goes back and forth at light
yeah.
speed. God, those things do 3 damage as well, and they are annoying.
Oh, they unload on your ass.
I could add
Um,
on the Master Chief Halo looking dudes that throw knives like straight up, and it's like 3, 4 at a time, and they just don't quit. And there
Yeah,
was, I want to say stage 4, they get like fucking a foot apart, and that's where you have to go up. And I was just like, this is one of those moments in a game where I'm like, I'm gonna take damage and kill them as quick as possible because I could not figure out how to do it without doing that.
yeah.
So those guys were annoying.
um, I'll pick up from that. Yeah, fuck the birds. The other things I can actually all the animals in this game, the birds, the
Yeah.
bats, the cheetahs, dogs, fuck all of them. They're like the most annoyingest things ever. But I think the one thing that makes this game stupid hard is like some of those bosses that respawn in spots where it's just like they were there to kill you, and now you got to turn around because one of those animals is coming, and bam, there they are, they're back again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that sucked.
that pissed me off. I think that's the one thing that really grinds my gears in this game here is this just respawning because like I say that same scenario. You kill this thing, it's up on a platform above you so you can jump up there, but you gotta turn around and deal with this animal that just snuck up on
Mhm.
your backside. Turn around, oh, there's that guy on the platform again. Guess what? The fucking dog just started to come back at you again. So it teaches you just kind of like a run and gun it, but if you gotta be good at it, gotta be
It
good
really
at it.
And
says it. How ninja are you? Really? You kill him? How ninja are you? Can you do it both at the same time? It really makes you hit the like it's quick. I'm
this,
with you on that. That was
I will
something
say,
I should
this
have
has to
mentioned.
be one of my. It's like second. It might be number one, like before the words, but this might be second. It's when you do a jump, and a bat flies while you're jumping off the screen you
Mm,
couldn't see. Like, what am I supposed to do? He's
Oh
not in
yeah.
my view, and you're jumping, and a bird comes out and it hits you, and you fall right in the hole. Like, how was I
yes,
supposed to do? How was
dude.
I supposed to know that bird was coming or bat was coming? And what am I supposed to do about that? Just know it, and you have to time it
Yeah, I
perfectly if you want to
guess.
hit midair. Like,
Well, I mean, yeah, I think the next time you get to that spot, because you just died, so you will be back again.
yeah,
But yeah, you
Yeah.
remember that son of a bitch. He killed me last time.
yeah,
And that feels like any side scroller of its time has something that pisses you off that when it hits you, because there's some games around the time you hit it and you kind of like you do your little phase out thing where you go half invincible for a second and you
Mhm.
keep going. I'm with you. There's a lot of games in this time where you just freeze and then it's like, oh look, I'm dying a little bit, and now I drop after I regain my ability to die.
there's
So
on Ducktales. There's a couple spots like that with those bees. That's kind of the
yes,
same
Yeah.
concept.
dude, it's like the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. It's like he runs out and it's like, oh shit, you just fucking fall. Yeah, terrible,
Well,
terrible.
we've reached this part of the view or of the review. What do we have any final thoughts? I mean, overall, what do we think? See,
Before I can say my very final thought, we gotta at least flip it. Like my favorite part of the game overall, it's side scrollers are cool and you're a fucking ninja. Like I said, ninja top 20, top 50, hell yeah moment. You got like boobs, beer, bonfires, ninjas are on there. You know what I mean? Like it's just they're there. That's on the list of hell yeah moments for guys. And I
hmm.
mean, I didn't appreciate the cutscenes obviously as much as you guys. Um, but the fact that you have a game in the 80s that's delivering a story, even though you're a fucking 2D ninja, I mean, kind of impressive. You really got to give it its flowers there. There's some games I play and I'm like playing a game, yeah, like Oh, I'm a ninja. Whoop-de fucking do. This game, I'm like, I'm a fucking ninja. Like, I'm even though I'm dying a little bit, like I'm a ninja. And I think that's something I lose a little bit in modern games, like I've mentioned before. I'll be playing 2K. I don't feel like an NBA player. I'm playing Call of Duty. I don't feel like I'm fucking shooting people. Oddly enough, you get me in a side scroller 8-bit and tell me I'm a fucking ninja, it almost makes me use more imagination than seeing this in-depth, super 3D realistic world. I feel like a fucking ninja. So I mean, it's got to be. I think my favorite thing is it makes you feel like a ninja, dude. Like I felt
Oh
kick
yeah,
ass. You know,
I agree. And I mean, before we fully top off our final thoughts, what was your favorite game, Larry?
favorite
My favorite
game,
part of the game
Or yeah,
here was
favorite game ever.
Elden Ring.
I don't know where it comes in at, but I think this game strangely has a great reward system, and I think it's the really it is watching the videos. I want to see what happens next, the little cutscenes. It drives you, I think, and to a lot of players, that's why we want to know how the story ends. And I think that's what drives guys who are my age to play this for 30 years and do what they can to beat it. They want to finish the book. They want to know, what happens to Ryu and his father and all that shit. And I mean, props to everybody who's ever done that. Fucking you have achieved something, my friends. Um, I myself, I love the game just for what it is. It's a fair challenge that I guess that the knockback is a little bit unfair, pisses you off, but you learn to adjust to it. You learn that's part of you shouldn't have done that time. And again, like I say, it's the reward system that's kicking in on that dopamine hit of I got past that thing. Um, but I I want to say my favorite thing really is just that. I guess it hits the right amounts of dopamines for you achieving every little small step. Which is why I think where the rage comes in when you can't do it because you're hungry for that. You want that, and you end up not getting it, but you want it so bad that you're going to come back and try it again. And that to me is a sign of a really good game.
Solid. Yeah, really solid word.
100%. And I mean, I've spoken on how I love the cutscenes, the graphics, I love the music, but I think my favorite part of the game has to be from a mechanical aspect. I love. It might be a little niche, but I love you play the level, you get your ass kicked, you go back to the level, you just keep doing it, and you get to a point where you get so good at that particular board that you can pre-fire the enemies that are coming. You can just run through and really feel like solidly like you're just going speedy. And I feel like that I like getting better. I like seeing that I'm improving at a game, and you see this a lot here. Because if you don't get better, then you're not getting past that level. Like you
Sure.
have to get better. You have to memorize where these enemies are. You have to do it in one solid motion. Because if you stop for too long, I mean, you have a time limit. I mean, especially on some of those final bosses. Like if you like on the second level of the sixth boss, if you fuck around for too much, you're not gonna beat it in time. Like even with 150 seconds, like the level's so hard, like you're not gonna beat it in time with those 150 seconds. So you kind of have to keep that pace and kind of know where things are, and
Uh,
you have to improve. And a little even further niche. I just love the feeling of bouncing off walls back and forth really fast, like to get up to an area. Like it does feel like a motherfucking ninja, truly.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
He likes bouncing on it, you know?
Okay. Well, we've reached that part of the video. What are our final thoughts on the game, CJ?
Get me back up, dude. All I'm gonna say. Got two words for you, Charles Barkley style. Really good, classic, great feel, just fun. I mean, honestly, those two words that might have been more than two words. I think to not go on for longer than I thought I would have before I picked up the game, it feels classic, which when you're going back to old games, you don't want it to feel just old. There's some games that just come across as just old. This game feels classic. It feels retro. Like it really makes you think of what retro is and classic games are. It's really good. It's got a good feel to it. Aiden, I think you mentioned mechanics is kind of underrated. It did kind of feel it felt smooth. And a lot of games of this time don't feel smooth, and it makes it buttery and play well. And overall, just to sum it up, it's just fun. Like it's great concept, great execution, alley oop, fucking slam dunk. I mean, it feels amazing. Honestly, biggest takeaway. Larry, you add on to that one?
Not really. No, I mean that was very passionate on that. I mean, I just yeah, it is a fun game. It's you hit all the hot keynotes. It's fun. It's the hell yeah, I'm a fucking ninja, jumping back and forth on walls, killing guys, trying to avenge my father. I mean, what the hell else do you need? Um, and the only thing I could say is probably not a boss that's so fucking hard that you only get like one bar of life to work with
Yes.
3 phases of the boss in 150 seconds to do it in. Um, and if you can't do it, guess what? You're starting back at 6-1. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Um, but it's a good game. It's just that's it. I mean, it's say it 12 different times. It's a good game. That's really
Right.
where I feel about it.
Yeah.
100% agree. I've mentioned mechanical aspects I enjoy. Sounds great. Graphics are great. It's a good story. I mean, what else can I say? It's all those things encapsulate the fact that this game. I mean, it kind of like it brings me back. Hate to say it, but it's like Elden Ring. You beat this boss, or you beat this, or you beat this game,
You
and
motherfucker.
you have like something to be proud of. Like you can brag about it. Like you know what I beat? You know what I beat? I beat this Elden Ring boss, or I beat Ninja Gaiden. Like that's a statement where it's like, dude, are you okay? Or like, dude, when did you become a professional gamer here? And you have those things that it truly feels like an accomplishment to beat a boss or beat a level, tied with a good story, amazing soundtrack, great graphics for the time. I mean, in the cutting edge fact that cutscenes. I mean, this is one of the pioneers. I mean, what else more can I say?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess I was gonna say, I'm assuming that you would highly recommend this.
Yes, I would highly recommend this. Now, thank you for asking. I would highly recommend it if you want a challenge. I feel like this is even one of those games that, not even on NES, I feel like this game will really stands up to the test of time. And like I even compared to some of the games that I'm playing recently, like I really enjoyed this game, and I would 100% recommend it.
Yeah. No,
Well,
I mean you're nailing it on the head, dude. Larry's obviously came back to it. I- I'm normally this is normally where I stray from you guys. I normally say, "Fuck no, dude. Like it's an old game. Play something else." You might have got me. You might have. We're playing chess. You got me in the corner. Not only is it a check, it's a checkmate. And I mean,
let's
yeah,
say
dude, play this. Like, I mean, it's if you want the feeling of playing a classic game that's not some walk in the park, that's not the hardest thing you've ever played, but you want to go back and have a good fun challenge, fucking play it, dude. It's hell yeah moment. You're a ninja. And it's not
it.
terribly difficult, the whole miserable game, and it's not terribly easy to where you're like, fuck this kid ass game. It's flawless. I mean, they really do it great. You gotta pick it up at least once in your life. That's
Yeah,
my saying.
I think we all agree. Yeah, it's you got to play it. You got to go at it. It's the best way I can sell to anybody who's not. It's like one, if you have access to this, do yourself the favor. Know what almost. I don't know if I'm ready to say the words NES perfection are, but you are going to know what NES hard is and learn to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because this is not one of those ones that's going to screw you over. It's just going to prove to you. It's going to be hard, and you are going to get good, or you will not win. Period. So
Yeah.
give it a shot. Not playing it, you're not a gamer. I'm sorry.
And I will
I like
say,
that. Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I'd come back to it. I'd play it again.
Yeah.
Is it enough to
Yeah.
make you want to play the next one, Zayden? That's I guess that's my question. Are you looking at 2 and 3 coming in the future? Maybe.
From what I've heard from the three, I might try it, but will probably fail miserably. But yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to play 2 and 3 in the future. Same with Metal Gear. I mean, I've learned more to appreciate these games with a story, and they seem like they have more to it than just a high score. And yeah, I'd come back to it.
One
Oh yeah.
thing I think it's a good time to say it. Summer of 2025. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is coming out, and I watched a little trailer on it. Um,
Ooh,
it's gonna be another 2D side scroller, but
really?
it looks like the cutscenes might not be even skippable because I watched it and it's like 2 minutes, like a minute and a half. You gotta watch the trailer. Like it kind of hypes you. It looks like it's an anime. Honestly, it looks
Yeah.
really good. And if you're gonna tell me I can sit back on my Xbox and play this, I'm gonna sit back. Like this is a must buy to me at this point. I wouldn't have thought it before. I was kind of looking up a little bit into just how many Ninja Gaiden games there are, and once I saw that there was a new one coming out, I'm like, I guess they're doing good enough. And I played it. They got my however much. I mean, I can't see myself spending $70 on it, but if you ask for 30, 40, I'm probably gonna give it to you. I'm gonna be honest. Like it sounds like something I'm gonna go play. So I recommend at least you two go check it out if you're listening. It's well worth the minute and
I'll
30
have to check
seconds
it
of your
out.
time. Get off the TikTok. Get off TikTok. Get on YouTube. Watch this fucking trailer.
Well, I know I'll be doing that for this anyway. So yeah, hell yeah.
We've reached the final. We do this at the end of every video. We rate it 1 through 10. VGR rating, VGR scale. What do you think, CJ? Do you have a number in your head, and what is it?
Got a damn number. It's in my damn head. I'm about to make it out damn loud. Basically, I'm typically a little weird on these. I'm normally one to shit on hard games and kind of boost up our score on our lesser games that are like Donkey Kong. I might boost our score a little bit because it was simple enough to me that it was, cool. I get the objective. It did what it needed to do for me. And so I find myself with some of these games like Contra did do what it needed to do for me. It didn't give me the warm, tingly stomach feeling that something like Ninja Gaiden can. All I'm gonna say, I think I'm ready for the reaction of your faces. I'm gonna go with a big fat number one less than 10, 9.5, 9.5. This is my favorite game we've played so far.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that's not even beating it personally.
That's a
But
jumbo score.
I'm not gonna pretend this might be the first game I genuinely will like, fuck yeah, dude, let me play some more of that. Like, don't get me wrong, Kirby, I love Kirby. I'll eventually play it again. Like going back to DuckTales was really fun. I'm not shocked if I play it again. This is a game that I have a desire to go play again. Not like, oh, I could see myself. Like this is a want. And you guys are talking about the cutscenes so much, and then I see the fucking trailer of the new one, and I'm like, maybe I'm missing out. Like maybe I shouldn't ADHD ran it. And so it gives me kind of another reason to go back and play it. I mean, it's got to be a 9.5 from me. I'm gonna do
Damn.
some heavy lifting here.
That is a monster score. And now, I mean, it seems like we're all enjoyers here. What do you think, Larry? What's your score? Can you top that?
Wow. I'm in shock. I mean, I'm not. I can tell. Like say, we're all selling it well, and I'm actually like say the more I keep talking about it, the more it's like, damn, my number keeps bumping up.
Same.
Mostly because I don't want to give away the idea that Aiden picked a good game here, but it's Ninja Gaiden. It's awesome. It's hell yeah. I mean, I'm mind fucked completely that CJ went 9.5. I mean, it's yeah. I honestly believe I say in a couple years we hold down. We have we're having a beer, we're having a conversation, we're talking about it. I got the feeling that CJ's gonna be like Ninja Gaiden's one of my favorite franchises. Is a possibility. Maybe
It
maybe
sounds
not,
like
but he'll at least be like Ninja Gaiden's fucking awesome. I love it.
yeah.
Hey, at this point, I guess I'm gonna go. I'll say from the beginning, the first number I had down was 7.5. And that was
Boo.
it. Just deserves
That's
it.
like
But then it's like the more we kept talking about, it, it's like it is a hell yeah. It is fucking cool to be a ninja. It does play fair. It does look good. It's got great videos. I mean, and the worst thing is it's fucking brutally hard. Which I mean, we all don't want to walk in the park. I will roll it back a hair because it does get carried away with this hard. I don't think that they should have designed a game that takes fucking people, you know, 30 years to beat. Harnessing skills and all that shit. Now, given, like I say, it's probably a good possibility we may have Aiden. He'll have it done in 6 months, if not sooner. But I want to give it only because that last level fucking sucks and just makes you All you want to do is beat that son of a bitch, but it's still gonna pull it down to a 9. That's where I brought myself back to. Um, it's a good game. It's awesome. I just wish it'd be fair enough to let us mid gamers actually beat this damn thing.
Fair enough. Can't argue with you. That's fair. I didn't make it that far, so that's fair. That's my 0.5 on you.
I I will say, not to not to say the name that shall not be spoken again, but as we know, Elden Ring, one of my favorite games of all time, and it's also one of the hardest games I've ever played. And this kind of falls in that tier for me. And for my ranking system, I'm basing it off of games kind of in that era, in this time, and games that have played that are like around the NES version or even a couple years after the NES. But based on my ranking and previously for how much I like this game, it's one of the few games that I was actually introduced before the podcast. I mean, so far it's my favorite NES game that I've ever played. I'm struggling other than some of the enemies are hard. I mean, it's right up my alley mechanically, it's difficult. I love games that give me a challenge. So, I mean, to top CJ, I'm going to go a 9.6 on this bad boy.
You
I was
fucking
str- I was
dickhead, bro.
I was thinking a reason that I was running through my head. I was like, what like what's bad about this game? Like what's bad other than it's difficult? But that's right up my alley. I love difficult games. I mean, Elden Ring, those who played Elden Ring, any listeners, if I beat Elden Ring with a club and without armor, and I have hundreds of hours in Elden Ring, and I mean that is probably difficult in Ninja Gaiden or 1 through 3. I mean, if you beat Elden Ring, you know how many it for one boss, the beginning boss to defeat with a level one with just a club and no armor. It took me 7 hours to beat that number one boss, and I timed it. But I mean, this game, it's right up my alley. I love it. It's one of my first games that I was exposed to, and what can I say? It's great. I mean, I'd listen to the soundtrack like on a drive to work or something. It's dope.
Can't hate it, dude. You really can't hate it. I do want to ask because Larry mentioned his. I'll throw mine out there, but I want to know what pre-conversation, what was your rating in your head going into it? I know we all get our number kind of at least roughly in our head. What were you thinking before we kind of jumped into talking about it? I mean, Larry's at 7.5. Where do you sit, Aiden? You sitting higher?
Well, I mean, for my for my for the time I played before that. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. But I think I made it to the boss number 4 or 5. I think I made it to 5 when I gave up on the fifth boss. But or maybe it was 4. I don't remember. I gave up somewhere. But I feel like before that, I didn't really have a number. I'll say before I played it, because before the pod, I held this game to a really high standard before the pod. I would say before I played it the second time, my number was probably 8.25. Is what I'd say.
Fair, fair.
Yeah.
I was sitting at about an 8 pre-pod, and then the more we talked about it, me missing out on some cutscenes, and especially I trust you guys enough to if you're talking about them the way that you're talking about them, I don't think you're both wrong. I don't think I'm just gonna be like, nah, you guys are just. There might be a time where I'm like, I don't know, Larry, I didn't enjoy it as much. If you both are, fangirling over it the way that you are, I might just pull them up on YouTube and watch them or something like that. So
I mean,
you
don't get
got
me
me
wrong.
hooked on a game if you got me doing that.
I mean, they're not like modern animation
Yeah,
cutscenes,
yeah,
but
no, for
I mean,
sure.
it's for some of the first cutscenes ever. I mean, it's a pretty cool thing and pretty cool story.
Well, it adds such a layer to this game that I think, like I say, it's if you took that out, I'd probably lose a point right off the top, easy.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean that's fair. I would like to announce that the highest rating by an individual has been released, and then it was topped again, 9.5, then 9.6, and this is now also our highest graded game at a 9.4 overall, giving it a great score of an 8.5 plus. Our second game that is in the great category from
Oh,
VGR Pod,
What's the first one?
following suit with Kirby's Adventure at 9.1.
I think it was skewed. I think it was skewed.
Yeah, Contra might have been weighed down, but it's game fucks you over.
Contra's
Game
way down a
fucks
little
you over.
bit, but we could just say that
I've
I'm great
actually
at picking games. We can all disagree on
I've
that.
given out. If you want to count the top couple scores, Aiden's given out the best at 9.6. I've given out the next two at 9.5 and 9.4, and then Larry Kirby's Adventure 9.3 for you, coming right in.
I
I
mean,
like it.
I
We know a
appreciate
good
good
game when
games
we see it.
myself.
Come on, we
Oh
know a
yeah,
good game when we see it. There hasn't been a
I
game where anybody's given an above a 9 that somebody's dropped their score tremendously. Our biggest difference was DuckTales. We had 2 9s and a 6.2. But nothing's been higher than 9.0 and had a low score fall in suit. So that's a good thing. We're on the same page here. Even
I
Contra.
mean that's the thing. We like I said we've picked games here that for our draft we picked good games, and I think we're going to find that. I think in the extras where we're deciding to look at a little bit more, we may find a little more of the junk, but that's okay. Um, but maybe
Speaking
we're
of,
looking for the best of the best. Maybe we're just looking for some good shit to let you all know.
Yeah.
Try this out because I think that's the end of this one here. Is try this game, play it.
And I want to
yeah,
say, like, anybody that's thinking like, oh, these guys only give good scores, you got to think, like Larry said, like we already drafted like some of the best NES games. Like, don't get me wrong, if we were playing some what's that game we played with the plane? I can't remember. Like
fucking
Top
Top
Gun.
Gun,
that
bro.
we played
Fuck
that as a
Top
little
Gun.
demo, bro. If we played it in Pick Top Gun, you'd be seeing some low scores. Is all I'm saying.
If we did a wheel of every NES game and spun it like 15
Oh
times,
God,
oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
no, that's
Oh yeah.
dangerous. That's
yeah,
so
that's
dangerous,
interesting.
dude.
You'd be
You
seeing some
know
low
what?
scores.
I'm gonna propose it. If we can find a way next season, mark me down here saying it. Our last game, instead of picking for someone, we should do a wheel.
No wheel. Yeah, I'll be down
We
to.
should do a
Well,
wheel. Yeah, there we
we'll,
go. And
we'll see if
like
we.
Aiden and Larry both said, a lot of great games. Speaking of, Felix the Cat, dude. Felix the Cat's up next. If you love cats, you're gonna love this game. If you hate cats, you're gonna love this game. If you love Felix the Cat, you're gonna love this game. This game, you're gonna hit it out the park. I'm fairly sure. Haven't even played it. I'm certain. If you
If you love
like games
lasagna.
like DuckTales,
Okay.
if you love lasagna, you love games that play like DuckTales animation wise, you're gonna like it. If you like 2D side scrollers, if you like NES games, you're gonna find out what's about to have the highest score in VGR history. Up next, Felix the fucking Cat. Come
I
on now, talk to me.
I'll throw in a little spoiler for this too. This actually is a game I have never played for the Nintendo.
Well,
So this is you're gonna get full effect.
no
What do I
nostalgia.
think and all that right out the gate.
This might be the only game on the list that you haven't touched before, too.
I've never
Now
played
that I'm
either.
looking at the list, so this is look at me, dude. I'm
Yeah,
just an original guy, you know. I don't take big titles. I take the titles that are just good and underground, you know.
we'll see how that
This will
goes.
be
We
fantastic.
will see how that goes. And like CJ said, check us out next week. And also, if you're listening on any audio platforms, check us out on YouTube at VGR Podcast to see our amazing faces and some reactions and funny moments there. But anything else, guys? I mean,
You got to tune into the YouTube and see Larry's reaction when I said 9.5. At least you skip to that part and do yourself that favor. At least that.
I'll throw out a little of that business stuff. Just make sure you like, share, follow us on your favorite podcast catcher. Tell your Alexa to play the VGR podcast. She'll start to play the newest episode. Uh, Find us, of course, on the YouTube. I think that's really good stuff. We're doing stuff there. We're making it happen. And we do want to hear from everybody. Please just drop us an email. Let us know you're there. VGRpod@gmail.com. Um, we're going to just get more things moving. We just need to know you guys are out there doing it, man. If you guys want it, we'll give it to you. I promise you that. But other than that, that's about the only business work I want to throw out there real quick.
Yeah. We
alrighty.
Aiden, if you want, send us off a little we had a little thing, you know, we talked about maybe doing some side one-off games. If you want to give a tiny little spiel, maybe just nothing too spoiling, you know, just some things coming up.
Well, I mean, we definitely got the thing coming up. We're gonna explore. We're gonna verge off of our draft order a little bit to give you guys some different stuff, some little one-off games that we might have missed. But stay tuned. Be aware for that. Stay on your toes because we're gonna be dropping some bangers. But other than that, this is VGR podcast. My name is Aiden.
My name is CJ. I'm not going to introduce anybody again.
Wrong
I'm
way.
still Larry, and I'm on the opposite side from you, buddy.
Alrighty, we'll see you guys later.
Bye, y'all. Thanks.